So you must have come across $1 million offers to prompt engineers 2 years ago. You must have seen those AI-based thumbnails, Meta, Google, blah blah blah, paying shit ton of money to engineers who make prompts work efficiently. Thumbnails like "Learn this to get rich," "Prompting is the new coding," "Write English, get paid," courses seeking you to write basic English sentences, and marketing as prompt engineering. Well, that was 2 years ago. Now we have a new buzzword in the market. It's context engineering. And in 2025, you're gonna sound smart at a party full of confused engineers, or update your LinkedIn bio without lying. You might wanna know what it is. So first, let's get back to 2 years ago. What was prompt engineering? So it was just you give prompts and GPT gives back some shitty generic response. Then you ask GPT nicely, or you can threaten it to death, and it gives you the best results. What actually changed? Just the input to LLM model that resulted in somewhat more preferable response. Nothing else, right? So why did prompt engineering die? Because models got smarter. Now you can summarize this article in 3 points for a fifth grader, and it just does it. You don't need to give it more specific instructions, and no need to say that you need a Shakespearean essay in the prompt, and it will do the work, most of the work itself. It does not require lots of instructions for it to work properly, right? These days it's smart enough, and it can also utilize some memory based on what you provide, and it can give you the better results. So the models understand structure, intent, tone, even the passive aggressive vibe. Naturally, people who built 12-step prompt frameworks had a crisis, and like all crises in tech, it was solved by rebranding. Now that CS majors can barely get any internship in the field, the best way for them to make themselves look exclusive in the market is by adding bullshit buzzwords in their resume. So if prompt engineering was one, and now you can add context engineering to the mix. Now you too can become a highly sought after individual with this contextual engineering. So let's get to what is context. Context engineering is basically crafting the entire environment around your AI query to make sure it performs well. It's not about just the prompt, it's actually setting up all the background noise you feed the model. So it actually includes prompt, the direct instruction that you are giving to the model, notes, extra background info that you have set up for the context, right? Then you have references, you can refer to docs, articles, links. Then you have past experience, you can keep the history of the user or system interactions. Then you have tools, calculators, APIs, vector DBs. You can add as many tools as possible. I have several tutorials on my channel for those. Then you have the format. You can ask the model to give a certain kind of format. Mostly people use JSON format because it's quite precise and works in the most cases. So with some analogy, I can say, let's say you are building an AI assistant for HR onboarding. So I worked in a company, in a startup that was creating an online HR platform that would manage the payrolls for users. So let's say a simple task AI agent, how would I include it in my job? Let's say I want an agent to write emails for the new employee. So what would prompt engineering approach would look like is just write a welcome email for new employee for this name and give them the job instruction. So it will write a generic email for your employees, right? But what happens with context engineering approach is that you inject the company tone guide, so you can tell what the company actually how your company deals with the employees. It could be firm tone, it could be professional, it could be silly, funny tone. You can add a sample successful email for the reference. You can include the name, you can include the teams, you can joining dates, manager details, how they are. You can add the HR policy doc as context. You can ask the model to return the markdown format and then edit it yourself for the final purpose. You can add proper pronouns for them. So why does this matter in 2025? Because AI isn't just smart, it's actually context dependent beast. Every enterprise tool, be it sales, code generation, or even legal writing, is now wrapped around LLM. So most of the fucking startups these days are just GPT wrappers, but their competitors are not going to be able to keep up with them. Even if it sounds weird, but you have to use the wrappers somehow these days for your startups to work. And even tools like LangChain, LangGraph are designed to control memory, history, and tool access to engineer context dynamically. So if you are a dev or product person, you need to think like this: what does my model know at this moment? What extra info can I package to make its job easier? How can I instruct it and surround it with clarity? So this is context engineering. It's not hard, but it's multi-layered. What you can do today is that you can learn how the RAG works, retrieval augmented generation. I have several tutorials before. You can check out my channel for those. Pulling the documents on the fly and feeding them as context. That was pretty much RAG. I made a tutorial based on Perplexity earlier. You can check that out. And you can experiment with LangGraph, LangChain. I have tutorials on those. Simulate memory and tool usage. So you can add in tools and keep the memory of what the user was doing and the context for user data, right? Then create structured formats. You don't ask, write me something. You give defined structure, role, tone, and you specify the format that you want the response in, right? Test inputs like you test APIs. You wouldn't deploy an API without testing edge cases. Do the same with your prompts. Context the bundle. And most importantly, think like a designer. The better you design the experience, the better your AI performs. So please drop a like if you ever bullshitted a prompt and got a surprisingly good answer. Subscribe if you wanna bullshit better, but now with context.